Using microphones, so move up this way so you can hear us.
Do you want me to go get them?
Everyone in the back.
You want me to go get them?
I want them to come forward.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Sebastian. Sure, you've seen me at the delegate meetings. What I have here is our proposed 2019 budget. And I just wanted to kind of have a preface where we can talk about what some of the columns are and as we make changes and notes and how it all affects. So in this first column, this is our estimated January to December 2018 estimated income and expenses for that particular year. We have the approved 2018 budget. We have the estimated budget versus the actual. And then we have the proposed 2019 budget. As far as the estimates go for January through December 2018, those numbers are going to change as we move forward just because the year is still going on. The approved 2018 budget will remain the same. And the proposed 2019 budget will change as we make changes and add in different notes. If you have any questions or you have a particular line item that you want to go into deeper or you have questions that I don't have here, let me know. Just like last year, what I'll do is I'll put your question in the notes section. I'll get it answered, and when we have our next meeting, we'll go ahead and get that answered. No question is a bad question, and the more questions you have, the better, because we only have so many meetings. So, you know, if you have a question, put them out there 3. So put them out there now so that way we can get them answered before the next meeting. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's begin. As of right now, for the proposed 2019 budget, the association dues would be $7.4 million. That number changes as we change the numbers. For the other types of income, we went with $90,000 for the interest, which is what we think we're going to earn from the CDs and doing the CD-ARS account. We have advertising revenue of $102,000, so we keep that the same as the expense for advertising, so it's a wash. We have investigation fees, which is a new line item that we're adding. That too will also have an expense of $150,000, so it's a wash. Installation luncheon net, that's the one where we sell tickets. We have it at about $2,000. Rental income has gone up substantially. We're up to $36,000 for 2019, and that's because we're collecting 2 separate rents. Gate passes, we did net of about $18,600. You know, that number is just a guesstimate right now. We're trying to incorporate it with some of the costs that we have. So that number may need to change before the next meeting. And laundry income, $18,000, which is a little bit less than what we have as the estimated, but it's just to keep it, you know, in line. If not as many people are using it, or, you know, there's some sort of issue, at least we have some room there to maneuver. Do I have any questions about the income side? All right, let's go ahead and let's move down to expenses. So again, this column here is what we think we're actually going to spend in 2018, and this final column is the proposed 2019 budget. Why that's important? So propane for the laundry. I estimate we're going to spend $6,150 in propane, so I put the budget line item at $6,200. Repairs for the laundry, we've only spent $1,200 in repairs, or think we're going to spend $1,200 repairs, but we leave us some room. The previous year was $5,000, I reduced it to $4,000. Termite control, we had a $600 line item on there. I removed that and moved it down to general maintenance because when we have the termite people come, I break it down per location, but it just needed to be one line item. I don't think we need a budget that has 100 line items. So I moved that down. Transportation. So we were given a proposal from transportation. Our 2018 budget is a little higher than our 2019, but that's based on their estimates. Same thing with the fuel for the bus. That went from 70,000 to 86,000, and that's based on their estimates. Based on our estimates of what we think that we were going to spend. The excursions, I believe, are in this $896,000 number. Yes. So they are. So we're reducing the $24,000 line item to zero for excursions, and it's now in our contract for transportation. Bus stop maintenance, I took that $6,000 that we had from before, and I moved that down.
Where did he move it down?
Because I believe the bus stop maintenance is now the responsibility of the transportation company. Okay, so that line item has been removed. Before I move on to security, did anyone have any questions about laundry or transportation? Yes.
You're saying that the bus stop maintenance, right?
Yes.
When you say bus stop maintenance, what are you referring to? And the bus company is going to take care of it, you said. Am I correct in what you just said?
Yes.
Actually, what you're looking at is the bus stop seats are something that Daniel puts in.
The what?
The bus stop seats where people sit and wait for a bus.
Oh, you're not talking about bus stop. You're talking about buses
But
maintenance.
we do have a budget included in that number to take care of, I think it's almost $25,000 to put in 4 places where the bus can pull into the grass area in an area so they're off the street so that when they're picking people up or letting them off, they're not blocking traffic.
Okay, so the
We have 4 spots.
25,000
We have
is
4
included
spots.
in the
It's included in that
896.
figure, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What entrails of GOAT lead you to believe that propane is going to escalate
Yeah.
to that
Why
degree?
should it?
Do you mean the propane for the laundry or for the
No.
fuel bus?
Fuel
Well,
bus.
effectively both, but the bus, that's a pretty big jump you've got.
Sure is.
So,
One of the things you have to understand is some of the buses that are now excursion buses are going to be the company that provides us bus service. We pay their propane. When we hire a bus for $600, we don't pay propane. So we're taking on an additional bill in order to bring the cost down of the excursion bus to using the bus company's own buses. That means we're
But
going
we're
to pay.
paying for it anyway.
We're paying for propane,
Yeah.
and it's still less than the $600 a bus.
and for
And
the
that's the
fuel,
reason for it. So the fuel's added, where the cost of the $600 is reduced to $470.
for the fuel, for the first 6 months, I had $43,000 in expense. So, we just doubled that, just so we could get through the end of the year. So that's where we have the estimate for the 86,000. And then the contract excursions, that's in the 896.
All right.
Any more questions about laundry or transportation? Okay, we'll move on to security. Okay, so for the security contract, you can see the 2018 and the 2019 budget line items are exactly the same. What that number is, we're still calculating. We think by year's end we'll have spent somewhere in the range of $760,000 for security. I have the number broken down of what we have spent through the first 6 months. For the first 6 months, and it comes out to be roughly around 360 or so, 360, 380. So even by doubling that number, we're still within our budgetary line item, but that one will drill down to, and we'll have a more concrete number.
And one of the reasons for that is I haven't heard yet from the company. They were supposed to send us a proposal, which we could use in the budget. So that's
Okay.
So
Okay, so-
I should have it to there tomorrow.
Okay, so we'll put in there need proposal, so we'll go ahead and get that. The miscellaneous expense, we still have that one in there, although, you know, as a CPA, nothing is miscellaneous. Everything has a category. However, you know, sundry and miscellaneous is, I'm not really buying bags of chips for everyone, so we have that line item still in there, but based after the proposal, we'll talk about taking that out. Investigations. The 140, oh, yes.
Is there not something in the contract about a delta every year?
Yes, there's a 2% increase they can provide, but I wanted it broken down because you remember we split off part of it, you know, the WPRF.
Right.
So I wanted in writing what their number is going to be, and when I get that, that's the number that'll be in there. This is early stage presentation.
For investigations, so you can see the estimate through year end is 114,000. That number is pulled completely from thin air. It's just taking the first 6 months and doubling it. If the investigations, because we bill for it every time, it should equal out to whatever we collect in the investigations. You know, we should always be ahead. So what I did is I put 150.
The prospective buyer or renter pays
Yeah, right.
the investigation
Yes,
fee.
so what I wanted to just reiterate, on the very top in the income item, we had investigations, 150,000 of money in.
Come on, okay.
And then on here, we have the line item of the 150,000 going out.
Which presumes a wash.
Now, we could make money on it, or there could be a surplus from there, but if everyone is from another country, let's say, we lose. We're stuck by statute of limitation, or statute of $100, and if it costs us $3,000 to do an investigation, you know, there's nothing we can do about that.
Just to add to that, the cost of a foreign investigation has gone up in the past 2 years. We are receiving more foreign investigation requests than we have in the past, and we're also probably getting more requests for legal opinion because of that.
Really? I can't.
So,
Those of which are ours to pay for.
I'm going to suggest that we write a research paper on these incredible increased costs and the fact that 718 has capped at $100,
Yeah.
to my knowledge, for 2 decades, and we ought to go to Tallahassee. Because that is unconscionable.
So we've complained every year, every time that they're in session, that the fees are too low and they don't represent. They did give us the slight increase on the estoppels for having to do the rush estoppels and stop everyone that they're doing. However, on the investigations, they limit the association to 100. However, they don't limit management companies as of right now. So I don't have to be out anything when I run the investigations for another association. So I think that's a good idea, and I think showing them associations of this size, 7,854 reasons to want that number to be different, because if everyone came in, you know, cost more than we collect, it would be an issue. Okay, so investigations at 150,000 is a wash. We'll get a proposal for the 831 for the security contract, and then we'll revisit that at the next meeting. Irrigation. So one of the major changes we had last year was with landscape and irrigation. We had this line item for landscape, and then we had a separate line item for irrigation. And when we started to ask questions and go through those line items, it was pretty much not one and the same, but they followed the same process. It was the same companies. they're mixing part landscape, part irrigation together. So what I suggested was that we revise the line item for irrigation expense and make it irrigation and landscape. So we have both the irrigation and landscape. We estimate we're going to spend 303. Our budget was 313, and our proposed is 322,000, which includes a 3% increase.